right, so we have a few guests today that are curious because they're target shooters. They're curious just what the mental side of it has to do with their performance, and they're observing a few things related to their mind that's leaning them in the direction of feeling like there could be something, mental that could be addressed that is affecting their shooting. So do you guys want to just start off? Is there something that you've been experiencing or something that you've observed? Like what's got you thinking that there's something going on mentally?
I've actually called for the bird and then go, did I lock the house?
Yeah.
It's just, that's mind wandering. That's true, it's happened.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, I keep saying this because I'm not shooting enough. When I shot a lot, I was better at it. But it's still just wandering.
Yeah. That's an interesting solution to hear from you. Is if you shot more, that wouldn't happen.
Right.
Which is interesting because, so what would shooting more have to do with stopping your mind from wandering?
I attributed it to muscle memory.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh, good, I threw it.
Well, no, because actually the more that you practice, let's say your mechanics, the more the mechanics will be intuitive or subconscious, which doesn't have anything to do with your conscious mind wandering off and thinking about what's at home. So we can get into, I'll explain that in detail today. And what about you?
I can be out there, I can start a great round. I can have 15 dead birds in a row. And I know if I get that far, I'm going to start dropping birds.
Yes.
It's just...
Okay, so you have a belief system related to, a streak, a certain number of targets.
And it might be that I only break 10 straight, but it seems like when I start get in the zone and I'm shooting right, that I'm going to mess up. And
Okay. All right. So the first one was mind wandering and a belief that I can fix it if I practice more. And practice more means mechanics, right? If I practice.
Well, no, the whole thing. More
Okay.
the subconscious taking over from the conscious, and yeah.
But when you go to practice, you practice shooting, right? Your mechanics?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So I could fix my mind wandering if I practice. Fix it if practice more. And that's implied that it's your mechanics that you'd be practicing more. And you're saying that whenever you have a streak and you shoot for a good period of time and you're referencing the zone, that when you get to a certain number of targets, and do you have a set number in your head?
not really. I mean, I've been at 15 and I dropped the next one. I've been at 5 straight and I might drop 3 in a row. And then
Okay.
I'm right back in and breaking birds again.
So some kind of a streak, and then your mind starts to think what?
I don't consciously think it. I guess kind of consciously I know I'm going to miss a bird now.
Okay.
You know.
Equals going to miss now. Right?
And I might not even be able to pick up exactly when it's going to happen. But
It's inevitable though.
I think my mechanics are pretty good because I can go 10 straight and then miss 3 or 4, or I can miss the first 3 birds and then go 10 straight.
Yes. So you expect though that the streak won't continue.
Pardon?
You expect that the streak won't continue.
Yeah.
And that you've already proven it to yourself, so it's inevitable that you're going to start missing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main for both of you. That's the main thing you're observing. Okay. Okay, so let's start off just talking about the zone, which is something that we've talked about in these meetings before. So, since you referenced the zone, how would you describe the zone?
When I can get my mind totally wrapped around what I'm doing.
Yeah.
A couple deep breaths. I concentrate on my point of aim, and it just becomes pretty much automatic. My my mind takes over.
Yeah.
But I can't keep it that way forever.
Okay, so you would say that you know what the zone is, that you've experienced it before, and would you say you've experienced it a lot or a little?
A lot.
Okay. How about you, sir? Are you familiar with the zone?
Correct.
You are.
Yeah.
Would you say you've experienced it a lot or a little?
Quite a bit. Quite a
Okay.
bit.
And
it just
so
becomes the target, and that's it. Just you and the target.
everything disappears around you. It's
Correct.
you and the target.
Focus is on, swings on, head stays down, everything. You don't have to think. Is my head coming off the stock? You know, keep the wood to the wood and all that.
Totally present, not thinking of anything else,
Exactly.
especially not whether you're locked your house or whether you ate dinner or what you're going to have for dinner. Not thinking about a previous event or previous station, previous targets. You're not thinking about final score, and you're not thinking about how many targets you just shot. 'Cause those are all thoughts, right?
I don't have a problem with that. I
Right.
can stay concentrating on this station. One of the problems where we both shoot the most is we don't have a scorekeeper. So I'm constantly trying to think, you know, let's see, I've missed 2, I've missed 3, and then my mind's not in the zone.
Yeah, because by definition, when you're in the zone, your conscious mind is not analyzing anything. And that was what I meant by my point, is that it's not thinking about your score, and it's not thinking about your garage door being open or shut or dinner or whatever. It doesn't even matter what the thought is, it's all the same. The mind wandering, the conscious mind wandering and thinking about something else other than engaging in what you're doing is the opposite of the zone. So the zone is that your conscious mind is present and engaged in what you're doing. And you described it pretty well. So when you're present and engaged and in the zone, everything disappears around you. You're not thinking about anything else. So that means your analytical conscious mind is quiet. You're not overthinking, you're not analyzing, you're not wondering, you're not regretting, you're not thinking about anything else. It's you and the target. The target then ends up seeming like it's bigger, moving slower. Time seems to fly by as far as the whole event, like you're on one of the last stations or stands or whatever, the end of the round, and you don't realize it because it came so quickly. Or you feel like it's euphoric. It just feels really great. You're truly enjoying yourself. A lot of people describe it as they didn't really think about pulling the trigger. They didn't think about when to pull it. It just happened. So then they say they shot instinctively, or they shot intuitively, or they shot subconsciously. So the zone is the ultimate state of mind that you want to be in, and neither of these two events happening is conducive with the zone. They're both the opposite, right? If you want to understand more about the zone, I have a free webinar on Wednesdays that you can check out on my website. It's called The Elusive Zone, because so many people think of the zone as being elusive. That's why I named it that. A lot of experts and trainers and sports psychologists and high-profile coaches will all say that the zone is elusive. I disagree, because I understand the mind from a different angle and at a different level than most of those people. And a lot of that's because I am a hypnotherapist, as we were talking about earlier. So being a hypnotist helps me to understand the mind at a whole different level than most people and most experts understand it, especially because a lot of people still think hypnosis is like faux pas or not real or not legit. So there's a whole bunch of, like, a huge percentage of experts out there that don't even open up their mind to hypnosis, which therefore means they're truly not understanding the mind at some of the deepest levels. If you want to shoot from your subconscious, and you want someone to help you to shoot from your subconscious, then they should understand the subconscious, right? Which is what a hypnotist does. They understand the subconscious. They give suggestions, as you were saying earlier, right? So they give suggestions for the subconscious. They can help you to change programming in the subconscious, add things, remove things, change things. So what better person than to help you shoot from the subconscious? And it's really any sport. It's any athlete. It's not just shotgun shooters. This information is the same that I use with golfers, and the same that I've used with boxers and tennis players and basketball players and baseball players and can't even think of what else. Endurance athletes, horseback riders, gymnasts. It's all the same. So learning to not only understand your mind but understand how to use it reminds me of owning a smartphone. And you know, you can get by with the smartphone with the basics. You can get by and just call people and text people on it. Or you can really sit down with somebody and they teach you how to use that smartphone. And there's a whole bunch of things, right, that you could do with a smartphone that you probably have no idea. Same with any kind of computer. You can do the basics. You could do emails, you could do Word documents, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can do with it. So understanding the mind gives you a huge advantage, and it's going to give you a considerable advantage over competitors because most of them aren't getting the right information or taking the time to work on their mental game. Whenever you said I could fix it if I practice more, that's why I was questioning you. Because most people, most athletes, when they think of practicing, they 100% think of their mechanics. There's no other question. And when I say mechanics, it's everything physical, right? They go to a field, a club, certain grounds, wherever, whatever the sport is, certain arena, and they're going to practice their mechanics. And the idea with practicing mechanics is that you do something, some physical movement over and over and over again in order to get repetition, so you don't have to what's called consciously think about it. So you've got a subconscious part of your mind and a conscious. There's also an unconscious. We're not going to address that. That's related to your eyes blinking, your heart beating, your breathing. Conscious mind is the part of your mind that you're most familiar with. This is the one you're talking about when you say that my mind wandered and started thinking about something else. That's your conscious mind. But when you say I shoot in the zone, I shoot subconsciously, that was this part, right? That's actually two different parts of the mind. Ideally, you want these two working in conjunction. The way I explained it last week to everybody here is if you think of a car, you got a driver's seat and a passenger seat. Subconscious, ideally in the driver's seat, conscious in the passenger seat. Engaged in paying attention, meaning instead of elsewhere, instead of doing something else. So there's a lot of things that you can do subconsciously without conscious involvement. Your walking is done subconsciously. You had to learn it and then practice it with repetition, and now you don't have to think about it consciously when you do it. So walking is subconscious, brushing your hair is subconscious, brushing your teeth, opening a door handle, answering the phone, feeding yourself with a fork. There's thousands of things that you're doing every day that are subconsciously programmed, and they're there because of repetition. So when you're talking about a sport, you're looking to deliberately get repetition of something physical in order for it to be in your subconscious, and then it will just happen, just like when you're walking. You don't have to think about walking. That's what you want with your mechanics. That's why people practice. So if they don't practice enough, then they're concerned that they're not going to shoot well on the weekend or something. But let me ask you, if you drive a car and you've been driving a car, 20, 30, 40 years, and you take a month off from driving the car, you're going to forget how to drive the car? No. It's still in your subconscious. You might be a little rusty, but for a really short period of time. Same with riding a bike. If you drove